Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and we're going to go deep dive into bonded retainers and what I really think of them. And I have a lot of other content on when to use a bonded retainer, and it's not necessarily as opinionated as this one. This is going to be like, what do I love and what do I not love about bonded retainers? And if I was to launch like a all new de novo ortho practice, what would be my policy on bonded retainers? And I don't necessarily tell other doctors to use them because some doctors love them and some doctors hate them. And if you love them, I love them. If you hate them, I hate them. That's just kind of my thought. Because I can go either way with them because there's definitely benefits. So let's talk about what sparked this. So I was listening to this great podcast. And if I listen to a really good podcast, I'm going to tell you guys the episode. So this is an orthodontist podcast. So you guys are probably not listening to this, but Orthodontic Pearls podcast. I stopped listening to those pure ortho podcasts because it was mostly just grumbling for about a decade. But now they're being smart. So I started listening to them again because they're realizing that they're being taken over by GPs and they were for direct to consumer, and that if they don't get with it, which is what I've been telling you guys for 20 years, that's why I pivoted and decided to do this business. If they don't get with it, they're going to be extinct like a bunch of dinosaurs, because there's a reason why people choose the GP over the orthodontist. They got to make changes. Anyways, so the episode posted, I think yesterday. I don't know what the episode number is. For some reason, I don't see a number. But the title of this episode was trying to find the date on this episode. Why can I not? There's no date. Okay. Dr. Adam Schulhoff, Schulhof, means school town in German. I don't know what it means in Yiddish. Anyways, orthodontic innovations, success with practicing in 3 different demographics and relationship journeys. Gosh, that is a terrible, terrible title for a podcast. Orthodontic Pearls, if you're listening to this, or if you guys know them, I actually really like their podcast, but they need some work on their podcast stuff. Anyways, okay, so they kind of went into this. And actually, if you listen to my previous video, the one about the metal-free practice, they kind of went into that. So that's why sometimes when I listen to podcasts, I get great ideas to make YouTube content. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. So they were talking about, and I think I might have mentioned this before, but somehow somebody sent me this. I'll find them on YouTube while I'm talking to you guys. Hang on, I'm gonna look. YouTube, it's these guys, it's 3 people, and it's like a podcast, but it's on video, and it's about bonded retainers. Let me look it up, bonded retainers, comma, so you go to Google. I know it's on YouTube, but let's go to Google. Sorry, I'm doing this while I'm talking to you guys, and it's being weird. Okay, Google, because I know I can find the name of the people if I talk to you. Okay, bonded retainers, chiropractic. This might be weird. Scholar. I might not be able to find it, but goodness, shucks, I can't find it. There definitely was this YouTube, and it was these guys just going about how bonded retainers cause major chiropractic dysfunction, and it is causing all kinds of maladies in adults who have them. And then, by the way, there's a lot of adults that have bonded retainers that are absolutely loving them, like love them. So you got to find out. I mean, this usually doesn't happen where the bonded retainer stuff comes up unless it's a retreat case on an adult who either had a very bad experience or a very good experience with a bonded retainer and has a very definitive opinion about if they want one or not. You need to listen to that at the beginning. And you need to dig into it because you need to decide what your policy is on this, and we're going to get into that. But then, there's people who swear the bonded retainers like they're amalgams and it's killing their health. Like it's something about the stability and how teeth are meant to, I don't know. You got to find that YouTube where they were talking about like how it changes your whole body, and who knows, maybe it does. I don't know. People have been doing bonded retainers for a very long time. And like I said, usually the problems with them are either they're not done right, they're not being monitored right, so weird things are happening, they're not being cleaned right. Yeah, if all those things happen, then that's a problem. But to me, and this is what was talked about, that I'd never thought about this, because I've heard those dudes, and they were talking about those dudes on this podcast, so that they didn't name them either. They were kind of laughing. So as did I when I listened to it. And actually, I reached out to those people, the chiropractor, anti-bonded retainer people, and I was like, would you love to chat? And they were so nasty to me. I mean, I wasn't putting them down at all. I was like, interested in hearing more, and maybe I'd like to make some content about this. And they're like, you must take our $5,000 course. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm definitely not taking your course. So pass. And they were so rude that for that reason, I'm not backing them up, because I was actually trying to like full on hear them out. And if I had made some content on it and I thought it was valid, that would have really helped their platform. But if, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Anyway, so if you listen to this Dr. Adam Schulhoff, Orthodontic Pearls podcast, you can hear what they said about this. But there was a point that they said that I had never thought of, which was envelope of motion or envelope of function. And that they were talking about a lot of times bonded retainers, when people put them on, they don't check the occlusion, which is something I'm big about. And there's a few of you who are, I don't know where you guys are taking courses, but you guys are telling me you're taking these orthodontic courses and they're ending it with anterior occlusion. That's absolutely insane. That's like orthodontics 101. You do not do that. Again, if you want to know why, there's a lot of literature on this. Go into Google, put in, I don't know, I have some content on like fremitus, anterior contacts, envelope of motion. I don't know, you can look it up, but yeah, you don't want to do that, because when your teeth are banging in the front, it causes all kind of discomfort, sometimes in the TMD. It also can cause mobility of the front teeth, and a lot of times patients don't want that. And then, just especially when they're sleeping, they try to shift their front teeth away from their top teeth, and that can cause a lot of jaw pain. So I can see how this would cause neck pain potentially if a bonded retainer wasn't put on properly. So not necessarily wrong, but for a different reason. Anyways, so yeah, bonded retainers, when not made properly, put on properly, monitored properly, cleaned properly, or just bite isn't checked when you do one, are a disaster. But bonded retainers, when done right, done clean, fitted right, maintained right, are absolutely phenomenal for a lot of people. So, going more into bonded retainers, my concern is, if you're going to do them, is that you need to have a plan to monitor them. And should this be included in your $5,500 fee for life? Heck the heck no. So, because that is going to sink your practice. So I don't know any orthodontists that offer free bonded retainer warranties, screenings for life. No, maybe for a few months. You've got to have a warranty plan. And I have some templates, and this is part of my document store. If you work with me on a concierge case, I can give you documents, but you need to have a contract. They need to understand, if this sucker breaks at month 3, at month 12, at year 5, what the price is going to be to get it fixed, what the prices are going to be to get it checked, because they have to have a check regular, and what's the price is going to be to get it replaced. You need to have everything illustrated. And of course, it should never ever be free, because you'll not be able to sell your practice. It's going to be a disaster if you have free stuff. But a lot of people, once you tell them that, well, there's going to be an upgrade fee, it's very rare that a bonded retainer is needed long-term. I do really like them, and if you work with me on cases for settling bites, but I call those sloppy bondeds, in that they're not the best bonded retainers. They're not, you don't spend $500 on a bonded retainer for that. And there's a few situations where you do have to do them for like a perio split, but you could bill it as a perio split in that case. If there's perio reasons to do it, then yeah, then that makes sense. But then you're going to be billing as a perio split, and then you're going to be charging visits to maintain it. You know what I mean? Or have the periodontist maintain it and put it on. Then it's not your problem. So nothing wrong with that. But yeah, those are the issues with the bonded retainer. So you need, to me, if it's totally clinically indicated, I'm going to include it in the plan. But I'm going to tell them, look, you're going to need one of these. Someone's going to have to check it, regularly, whether it's your periodontist. Maybe it's better if a periodontist puts it on. Because if you come back to me and I put this on, I'm going to have to, bill you for these after a year. There's going to be a cost to have them checked and replaced and things like that. So that's the conversation I'd have. If they want one, it's really not, it's just personal preference, then I'm going to tell them it's going to be an additional, $500 maybe instead of doing the Essex. And they probably still need an Essex after a bite settles anyways. So it's going to be an additional fee. And then I'm going to tell them that it is required to be checked at least 2 times a year. That will include those visits for a year. After that, the fees are going to be X, Y, and Z. If it breaks, there's going to be fees, everything like that. I'm going to write it all down so that they know. So if something happens, it's not on me. So, all right. So hopefully that was helpful. Definitely check out all my content on bonded retainers that's out there, and learn to do them right if you're going to do them. All right. Thanks so much.